welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're looking at a story out of Kenya that's, well, pretty stunning. It involves the mobile loan service, Fuliza.
Yeah, our source is a YouTube video from Nairobi Insight Media. It's called The Campus Students Who Stole Keshash 500 Emerald from Fuliza.
And that figure, 500 million Kenyan shillings, that's nearly $500 million. It's just a huge amount.
It really is. The video even quotes someone saying it showed brilliance of a certain order that they just cannot explain, which, gives you a sense of the audacity.
Absolutely. And look, this isn't just a crime story, is it?
No, not at all.
For this deep dive, we want to get into how it happened, who was actually involved.
And maybe what it tells us about, technology, opportunity, maybe even some wider issues in Kenya right now.
Right. So let's dig in. The story really centers around one person initially, doesn't it?
It does. Gideon Kip Kurui Rono. He was a student at Egerton University. And this all kicks off during the pandemic in 2020.
Yeah, the video says he suddenly got access to millions of dollars, seemingly out of nowhere, not a gradual thing at all.
Right, like overnight wealth. And the first sign something was up.
The motorbikes. He bought 2 Bajaj Boxer motorcycles with cash.
Yeah, one for 143,000 shillings, another for 90,000. I mean, for a student paying that much in cash.
It stands out, definitely stands out.
And this is the beginning of what the video calls the Fuliza heist. Basically, it's an identity theft scheme.
Okay, so where did he get the idea?
Well, apparently he'd seen what another group, the Mullah Gang, was doing. But he wanted something smarter, cleaner, as the video puts it. Less direct, maybe more tech-focused.
So how did he start? With the IDs, right?
Exactly. He started just collecting lost or, discarded ID cards he found around Bomet Town. The video says he gathered quite a few.
And then came the really crucial step. The Safaricom Moig machine.
Yeah, this device lets you register new phone lines, new SIM cards. Hugely important for the plan.
Because these new lines were the key to getting the Fuliza loans.
Precisely. Starting around May 2020, they used these SIMs, registered with the found IDs, to apply for loans from Fuliza.
And we should probably mention Fuliza itself. It's pronounced roughly Fuliza.
Right. It's massive in Kenya. An overdraft service linked to M-Pesa, the mobile money system. Super convenient for millions.
But that widespread use also created this vulnerability they exploited.
Absolutely. And the scale just ramps up because of how SIM registration works there. One ID card could register up to 5 SIM cards.
Wow, 5. So the example the video uses, 50 IDs doesn't just mean 50 lines.
No, it means potentially 250 lines, 250 opportunities to borrow.
Okay, so what was the process then? Register a SIM, apply for a loan.
Pretty much. Each line would borrow a minimum amount from Fuliza. As soon as it came through, bang, transferred straight to Gideon's main numbers.
And they didn't keep the SIMs active.
No way. The video says 2 to 3 days, max. Get the money, ditch the SIM.
Like a burner phone system, but just for loans.
Yeah, exactly. And it became this routine. Register, borrow, transfer, discard, repeat. The money piled up fast.
Fast enough that by December 2020, he was buying more motorbikes. 2 more.
Clear sign the operation was growing, scaling up.
Which naturally meant he couldn't just rely on finding lost IDs anymore. He needed more IDs and probably more help.
Right. He needed to recruit. This is where others come in.
Who were we talking about?
Isaac Kip Kimoy, another student from St. Paul's University. Then there's Nelson Kamo, described as an OG in SIM swapping, like a real expert.
An OG, okay, so experienced.
Yeah, Isaac apparently brought him in. And then the third key person, Peter Dahi, an IT expert.
And what was special about Peter?
This was critical. He apparently had access to the National Registration Bureau.
Wow, okay, that is a game changer.
Definitely. Because now they weren't just finding IDs, they could create falsified ones. Using real data, presumably. That blows the doors wide open.
It really does. It also raises serious questions about, the security of those national systems.
Big questions. And with this new capability, they expanded massively. They got 13 of those Safari Moigo machines.
13. Just imagine the number of SIMs they could register simultaneously with that setup.
Huge capacity. And Gideon streamlined it further. He started essentially selling the newly registered SIMs to himself. Cut out any middlemen, reduced costs.
Very efficient in a criminal sort of way.
The video calls it a period of serious efficiency, yeah. And they moved their base, set up shop in Nakuru, in the Kiamuni estate.
Bringing in more people, too. More pals, as the video says.
Yeah, needed hands to manage it all. By the end of 2020, the money wasn't just flowing, it was like flooding in.
Which creates a whole new problem,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
What do you do with all that cash? You can't just stuff it under a mattress.
Exactly. They needed banks.
So February 2021, Gideon opens an account. Family Bank in Nakuru.
And interestingly, it sits quiet for a few weeks, then boom. February 22nd onwards, it just explodes.
How many deposits are we talking?
The report says around 90 deposits per day, ranging from maybe 22,000 shillings up to 100,000, all coming from different M-Pesa numbers.
90 a day. That's going to get noticed eventually.
You'd think so. They must have realized it too, because the next step was spreading it out, more accounts.
So Nelson and Edwin, they open accounts at the same bank in March.
Yeah, specifically for deposits, it seems. Then Isaac opens his account there in April.
And his account saw a similar flood.
Oh, yeah. In May, 224 deposits, tiny ones, like 1 shilling up to 87,000, all over the place.
And they weren't just letting it sit there?
No, constantly moving it, transferring chunks, maybe 200,000 shillings at a time between accounts, then withdrawing it quickly as cash, trying to muddy the waters.
Make it harder to trace. Gideon even opened another account, right? Co-op Bank.
Yeah, July 2021. And within 3 weeks, over 1.4 million shillings landed in that one from just 9 different phone numbers. The scale is just, wow.
So inevitably, with all this cash sloshing around, they started spending.
Living the soft life, as the video puts it. Gideon bought a Subaru Forester in August 2021.
Nice car. And Isaac.
He and Gideon went to Mombasa. Isaac bought himself a Toyota X there.
Okay. The Subarus seem popular, though.
They do. Nelson got his own Subaru Forester in January 22 after a big chunk of cash hit his account. Then Jones got one. Edwin got one in February 22.
A fleet of Subarus.
Yeah.
And Gideon finished with a Pro Box.
Yeah, seems like it. Maybe a bit more practical. But yeah, they're definitely enjoying the proceeds.
But you can't run something like this forever, can you? Especially with that many transactions, that many SIMs involved, someone's going to notice.
And they did. Back at Fuliza HQ, they started seeing this weird pattern. SIM cards taking loans, then poof, switched off, gone.
That's got to trigger alarms in any lending system.
Absolutely. By August 2022, NCBA Bank, the bank behind Fuliza, they really started connecting the dots. They saw this massive spike in loan applications.
In the disappearing SIMs.
Over 123,000 of them took a loan, then vanished. That's not random churn, that's fraud.
So the bank's investigators got involved?
Yep, their fraud unit. Started tracing the money, the transactions, and the trail led them back.
To Nakuru, Kiamuni estate.
Primarily, yeah. And also to Transoya. They were closing in.
Who'd they get first?
Peter Dahi, the tech mastermind, with the access to the registration bureau. Getting him was key.
The linchpin.
Exactly. After that, the rest started falling. Isaac Kip Kimoy, Gideon himself, Max Jambo, Moses Renault, others in the network.
And they all ended up at DCI headquarters.
Yep, the end of the road for the Fuliza heist.
Yet when you hear about the skills involved, the IT knowledge, the organization, it's kind of a shame, isn't it?
It really is. The video makes that point, too. These were bright individuals. That ingenuity, used legitimately,
could have built real businesses, contributed something positive, especially in Kenya's tech scene, which has so much potential.
But they chose this path instead. And you know, you have to consider the context, too. Kenya faces real economic challenges, high taxes, poverty. For some young people, the lure of fast, easy money, even illegal money, can seem very tempting when legitimate opportunities feel scarce.
That's a fair point. It doesn't excuse it, of course, but it's part of the bigger picture. Kenya's got complex issues to tackle to make sure talent doesn't get wasted like this.
For sure. And the video wraps up with a good message, I think. True success, it's not found in stolen cash or flashy rides. It's found in building something real, something that lasts.
A good reminder. So let's just recap quickly. We saw how this started with one student, Gideon, collecting IDs.
Then recruiting key people with specific skills, especially the IT expert who could fake IDs.
Scaling up massively with multiple registration machines, tons of SIM cards.
Moving huge amounts of money through multiple bank accounts, trying to stay ahead of detection.
Enjoying the soft life with cars and trips.
Until the pattern of disappearing SIMs became undeniable, and the bank's investigation led straight to them.
It's just incredible that students essentially pulled off a nearly $500 million shilling operation.
It really makes you think about mobile finance, doesn't it? The opportunities are huge, but so are the vulnerabilities, especially somewhere like Kenya where it's developing so fast.
It does. Leaves you wondering about that pull of quick riches versus, the slower, harder path of building something lasting.
And the ethics of technology, too. Such a powerful tool, but it can be bent towards these kinds of destructive schemes.
Definitely. So maybe the final thought for you, the listener, to take away is this.
In a world that seems to be getting faster, where tech offers these shortcuts, What really makes for genuine success? What truly lasts? Something to mull over.